Raghav had never believed in timing, he believed in certainty. And he was certain about Naina. He had met her on an ordinary Tuesday evening at a quiet coffee shop near her office. She had ordered chamomile tea. He had pretended to like black coffee just to seem mature. Over months, conversations turned into long walks into shared silences, and those silences into something that felt like home. Naina was a single mother. Her son Arav was bright-eyed, shy, and fiercely protective of his mother. Raghav never tried to replace anyone. He simply showed up with coloring books, patience, and a quiet steadiness that made Arav slowly hold his hand without fear. But Naina was still legally married. The divorce had been in process for almost a year. Court dates kept shifting. Paperwork moved like tired wind. Every time Raghav brought up marriage, she would hold his hand gently and say, "Just wait. Let me close one chapter properly before I start another." One evening, sitting at their usual corner table in the coffee shop, Raghav finally said it clearly. "I want to marry you, not someday, not eventually. I want to build a life with you now." Naina's eyes softened, but her voice was steady. "I want that too, but I can't step into a new promise while the old one still legally exists. Please wait until the divorce is finalized." He heard the words, but what he felt was distance. "You're asking me to wait for something that has no date," he said, his voice trembling despite his effort to stay calm. "I'm asking you to trust me," she replied. The word wait echoed louder than trust. Something inside him broke, not because she didn't love him, but because he felt powerless against circumstances. His chest tightened. Without finishing his coffee, without saying goodbye properly, he stood up. "I can't keep standing in a doorway," he whispered, and he walked out. Naina thought he would call that night. He didn't. She thought he would message the next morning. He didn't. Days turned into weeks, to social media, and quiet. His number remained reachable but unanswered. No anger, no explanation, just silence. Raghav didn't leave the city. He didn't block her. He simply withdrew into himself. He buried his emotions in work, in gym sessions, in long evening runs. He avoided their usual streets, avoided the cafe, avoided the park where Arav had once fallen, and insisted only Raghav uncle could pick him up. He told himself this was strength, moving on, accepting reality. But strength often looks like numbness from a distance. For Naina, the silence was unbearable. She replayed that evening again and again. Had she said it too coldly? Had she not reassured him enough? She wasn't rejecting him, she was trying to protect their future from legal complications, from scandal, from uncertainty, but now the future felt emptier than ever. She started visiting their places, the coffee shop first. She sat at the corner table, hoping he would walk in with that familiar slightly rushed step. He never did. The bookstore they loved, the lakeside bench, the small street vendor who sold roasted corn in the evenings. Each place held memories, but no Raghav. Weeks passed. Her divorce hearing finally got scheduled for final approval, and ironically, the moment she had asked him to wait for was arriving without him beside her. One early morning, she boarded a train to Texas for work. She leaned against the window, exhausted from lack of sleep and too many unanswered thoughts. As the train slowed at a mid-route station, someone entered her compartment. Her breath caught. The man standing near the door looked exactly like Raghav. Same build, same slightly slouched shoulders, same watch on the left wrist. Her heart began pounding wildly. She stood up slowly and walked toward him. "Raghav," she said, her voice barely steady. The man turned. It was him, or at least it was undeniably his face. But his expression was blank. "Yes," he said, polite but distant. It was his voice too. She swallowed. "It's me, Naina." He paused for a second, long enough for hope to bloom painfully inside her. Then he nodded slightly. "I'm sorry. I think you're mistaken." The words hit harder than anger would have. She stared at him, searching for recognition, for warmth, for even a flicker of the man who once spoke about building a home with her and Arav. But his eyes were calm, detached, almost unfamiliar. Perhaps he had built walls so high that she could no longer see over them. Or perhaps he truly wanted her to believe she had mistaken him. Passengers moved around them. The train began to roll forward again. Naina felt her throat tighten. She wanted to say more, to remind him of promises, of teacups, of little Arav's drone still stuck on her fridge. But pride, hurt, and the realization that she might have already lost him kept her silent. "I'm sorry," she whispered, though she wasn't sure for what. He gave a small, courteous nod and turned toward the window. She walked back to her seat slowly. Outside, landscapes blurred past. Inside, something settled heavily in her chest, a quiet understanding that love sometimes doesn't end with dramatic fights or betrayal. Sometimes, it ends in waiting too long, and in silence that grows louder than words. As the train continued toward Texas, Naina rested her forehead against the glass, wondering if certainty had simply arrived at the wrong time for both of them.